Welcome to Football Conspiracies.
I'm Jared Cole.
And I'm Jared Rabinovich.
This week's episode, Artificial Intelligence. So, before we started recording, Jared told me he has the banter today, so I'll hand it over to him.
I mean, you have to understand, this is very me-coded banter, so I will say up front that it has literally nothing to do with the NFL, and it barely has anything to do with conspiracies, but something I came across in my research for this episode, and there's no avenue I have to speak about this sort of thing except on this podcast and with you, so I figured what the hell. And that's the fact that I, through my deep search terms, somewhere deep down in like the 7th page of Google, I found a event that's happening actually this coming weekend that I will not advertise any further than that and give no names. That is a conspiracy theory trivia tournament, and the prize is an AR-15.
What?
Yes, absolutely.
That's insane.
Insane.
Where? Can we go?
Where? America. I will not give anything more than that because I will actively choose not to advertise this event.
But we're going, right? I feel like I could win that.
I mean, I already signed us up and bought a plane ticket, so we'll be there. If anyone wants a meet and greet with the hosts of Football Conspiracies, you know where to find us.
You should tell them where to find us.
It's going to be hard to find that, to bring that AR-15 back to Canada. Because we're winning.
Yes, we are.
All right, so I did need to bring that up, but like I said, pretty
that's crazy.
Off the track banter, kind of crazy. I think the listeners of the show would find that an entertaining fact, though.
Yeah, that's crazy. Even if you've just come here for football.
Exactly. So I hope you guys consume that, sit on it, and I do hope none of you look any further into this. And please, I do not endorse this event. Do not show up.
Except we will be there.
Except that's a whole other thing. All right, but now to the episode proper. I'm going to start it with a warning. For those of you who understand the reference, and I find it likely that most of you won't understand it, but I'm going to begin with this. If you are a believer in Rocco's Basilisk, I recommend turning off this episode right now. It will not do good things for your future. I assume you have no idea what that means?
Yeah, and if you're not a believer, then you don't know what it means, so then...
Here's the thing, and the people who understand will know what I'm saying. If I tell you what Rocco's Basilisk is, I'm putting you in active danger. So, I'm not going to.
Okay.
That being said, I'm not a believer, so Rocco, suck my fucking dick, okay? There's someone who's listening to this who's so scared right now. Who's so scared, I'm telling you. And that person, message us.
I'm going to look this up after.
Feel free to. It is hilarious. Also a little terrifying considering the repercussions it's had, but overall hilarious. So for real, the idea of this episode first came to me when I was at work. When looking at an inquiry that came in from a potential client for our company, I looked at the section that they had to fill out about how they found our organization. They answered that ChatGPT had suggested it. All right? Nothing too crazy. But the reason this struck me as like pretty odd is because I work at a very, very small company. Like very few employees, and yeah, we have like a bit of a footprint in the industry, but I just found it odd that ChatGPT would be recommending our company over some other monoliths within the industry. Of course, I do not know what prompt they used or what SEO keywords got them to this particular answer, but nonetheless, I thought it was notable. When I saw that ChatGPT could make this sort of discovery, I got curious. What did I do next? I thought, if you could find my niche company, Mr. GPT, can you also find a niche podcast?
Oh.
Now you see where this is going. This is what prompted me to ask ChatGPT the following.
Are you familiar with the podcast Football Conspiracies?
To my surprise, ChatGPT was absolutely familiar with our podcast. and I will pull up my conversation with ChatGPT right now, so J. Cole can take a peruse at this. You guys don't see this right now?
This is blowing my mind.
He is rattled.
This is crazy.
It is crazy. So in response, I asked, are you familiar with this podcast? And it goes, yes, I'm familiar with Football Conspiracies. It's co-hosted by Jared Rabinovich and Jared Cole and focuses on exploring wild theories, rumored curses, and hidden conspiracies surrounding the NFL and football culture. So it knows us.
Yeah, bro. It literally says right there, as of June 26th.
Exactly. It gives an overview. It says, started in June 2024. The podcast has 46 episodes as of mid-2025. We do have 44 actual episodes, but because we've released two we'll be back next week's episodes. 46. It is 46 episodes. And recent episodes, it lists episode 44, our last episode, Off-Season Conspiracy Roundup, featuring Aaron Rodgers, marriage rumors, and J-Lo divorce stats. Literally pulled exactly what this episode was about. Episode 43, the Kennedy conspiracy. Episode 42, the Curse of the Terrible Towel. It knows us. It absolutely knows us. It has earlier highlights included, which is conspiracies on draft day, the Paycor Stadium, Bears curses, moon landing skepticism among NFL players. How crazy is this?
This is wild.
I know. I was pretty rattled when I first saw that. And it then recommended to me, as ChatGPT does, things you could follow up with. And it says, if you'd like, I can, and one of the options was recommend standout episodes like the Terrible Towel Curse or Draft Day Drama. And of course, I responded by asking,
could you please recommend some standout episodes? Please provide me with the reason you chose those specific episodes.
ChatGPT came back with episode 42, The Curse of the Terrible Towel, and it says that this one tackles a classic NFL superstition, focusing on the iconic Pittsburgh Steelers' terrible towels, and goes on a bit more about the description of the episode. The next episode it chooses is episode 41, Draft Day Conspiracy, and the last episode is episode 38, is the moon landing reel. All of them have slight descriptions as to why they chose these episodes, why it's popular in pop culture, that it focuses on league politics, that it's particularly quirky, hilarious, or memorable. But I started noticing a pattern of the episodes I was bringing up at this point.
It's only the most recent ones.
That's right. So I did have to ask them the next obvious question, which is,
what about the best older episodes?
ChatGPT then thought for a full 6 seconds, which is long for ChatGPT. And what it came back with was episode 39, Why the Chicago Bears Are Cursed. Episode 38, once again, is the moon landing reel. And this one threw me off. Episode 1 or early launch episodes, mid-June 2024. It's weird that it wouldn't bring up the first episode that we actually had with its name, the Super Bowl logo conspiracy, which did come out in mid-June 2024. But I was a little surprised by this exact wording of this. So I did a little more deep searching, and I found out that it actually accidentally pulled in an episode from a different podcast called Secrets and Spirits, which is actually a great concept, where they drink alcohol and they talk about secrets, some conspiracy. Yeah. And in one of their episodes, they talked about football conspiracies, and it somehow got tied into ChatGPT's research of our show.
Okay.
So it messed up a little bit, but overall, I thought this was an absolutely crazy revelation. It even says things like the podcast generally garners a 5.0 star average, which we do, not to humble brag.
Thank you.
Thank you to all our listeners. Yeah, for real.
Please
we love you guys.
Please keep giving us 5
more
stars.
5 stars. More 5 stars, please. But it says that we have strong call-out titles, hooky subjects, and then it says that we have guests, which we don't, so I thought that was a little odd. But overall, this was a pretty accurate overview of our very niche podcast. And it got me thinking, I guess my general impressions of this is that I was impressed it knew our show at all, but it could not handle any questions beyond the rudimentary, what is this podcast sort of inquiries, right?
Before we keep going, do you mind just asking ChatGPT real quick what our 14th episode is, let's say.
100%.
Just to see if, like, maybe they have the information or if it's just lacking somewhere. I don't know. This is going to be a long search. If last one was 6 seconds and the other one was 9 seconds.
The 14th episode is titled Bill Belichick Double Agent Theory. It was published on September 11th, 2024, and it was approximately 43 seconds long. It then shows the theme as well as the key topics covered, which is all accurate, and it has a little section on why it stand out. So yes, it has that information. I just don't think it has, because popularity stats of podcasts are not public information. That's only something that we have access to, like which episodes are performing and which aren't. Which, by the way, if you guys are wondering, the only episode that really that performed really well, particularly out of the ones it pointed out, was the moon landing one. And if it really did point out our standout episodes, it would have been the Super Bowl logo theory and certainly magnetic glove theory, which has blown up once again. Thank you, guys.
Yes, definitely turned into a fan favorite.
100%. It's certainly the fan favorite. But because that information isn't public, ChatGPT doesn't know that. But I guess it does understand why, or does understand which of our episodes are in what order.
Yeah.
But
it has the knowledge, it just doesn't want to give it because it wants to give the newer stuff.
Exactly. I'm curious as to why it does pick that older stuff instead of just picking at random at that point, but I guess it's just something about the ChatGPT algorithm that I certainly am too stupid to understand.
Me too, bro. Me too.
But this whole adventure down this ChatGPT rabbit hole, it got me thinking, to say the least. And my next big question was, could ChatGPT write in my voice? Do I even need to write these episodes? Right now is when I would love to make the reveal that the entire episode script up to this point was written by AI, but that is simply not the case.
No, I would not believe you if you said that.
Yeah, I mean, like, the fact is AI is not good enough, or I am not good enough at prompting the AI to write a believable episode that sounds like it was written by me.
Well, it doesn't listen to our episodes, does it?
No.
It just has our descriptions.
We're getting a little deeper.
Okay,
let's wait on that.
Sorry.
No worries. And to say all this, it might have not been able to get my voice exactly, but it did not miss the mark completely. What I chose to prompt ChatGPT with next is the following.
You are the host of the podcast, Football Conspiracies. Can you please create a detailed outline for an episode of Football Conspiracies based on their previous episodes? Please make the episode about AI conspiracies in the NFL. And please make sure all the stories, anecdotes, and facts are accurate. Please make it in the style of the attached document.
The attached document I referenced was the script from our last episode, the previous episode, the off-season conspiracy roundup. So I gave it a template to work off of, give it a little more information to see, can it do this? Can it write in my voice? And the results, you guys will see now. J. Cole, I need you to run it back. Welcome to Football Conspiracies.
I'm Jared Cole.
And I'm Jared Rabinovich.
This week's episode, the AI Playbook. Are NFL teams using artificial intelligence to cheat?
Welcome back to Football Conspiracies, the only podcast where Bill Belichick is always listening, but somehow still says nothing. We've talked about deflated footballs, we've talked about ghost injuries, but today we're going high tech. That's right, this week we're diving into the rising world of AI in the NFL and the absolutely wild conspiracies that have followed. Think ChatGPT meets West Coast offense, but with more paranoia and fewer ethics. So plug in your wired headphones for Aaron Rodgers' sake, and let's boot up the AI playbook.
Oh my god, this script is amazing.
It's pretty accurate,
That's
right?
Hilarious. Holy shit.
That isn't where this stops being interesting. It gave me a full episode. And let's enter part one. The Patriots, the algorithm, and the mysterious Sigma. Let's start with the most on-brand NFL team when it comes to digital espionage, the New England Patriots. According to a since-deleted Reddit thread on r/NFL No Sleep, the Pats allegedly developed an internal AI platform named Sigma starting in 2021. Sigma supposedly pulled from decades of playbook data, mic'd up footage, and weather patterns to generate in-game play suggestions all in real time. Where it gets spicy. In the 2022 season, observers noted that Patriots audibles mirrored exact play suggestions later found in Madden's AI-generated next-gen stats drive charts. Was it coincidence, or was Sigma learning from both real football and the AI sports matrix? Here's what we know. The NFL began restricting access to real-time Amazon Web Services AI dashboards on the sideline in 2023. No official reason was given, but an internal league memo obtained via Pro Football Talk cited competitive integrity concerns. Did Belichick break the algorithm the same way he broke VCRs back in 2007?
Whoa, that's insane.
This is nuts, right?
Hey, that's crazy.
It's absolutely crazy.
I can't wait for you to debunk that later.
So let's get into part 2 though. AI in the helmet. Is quarterback coaching going robo? Next up, a theory that refuses to die. AI-powered helmet comms. Since 2022, NFL helmets have included newer Bose and Motorola tech with low latency audio, and there have been rumors that teams are embedding AI play recognition systems into coaching headsets. Here's the conspiracy. A TikTok clip with 1.3 million views claims that during the 2023 AFC Championship, Mahomes was receiving AI-generated adjustments after each play. This was based on visible lip-sync discrepancies between Andy Reid and Mahomes' reactions. As one commentator put it,
Andy said 5 words. Mahomes nodded like he got a full Shakespeare monologue.
And here's the fact check. That, by the way, just to reiterate, this is the fact check that ChatGPT made for me, not my own. While there is no evidence of generative AI in live comms, several companies like Second Spectrum and Hawkeye do offer AI-driven predictive analytics used during practice and film review. Could a team feed that data into a pre-trained model and push it through headset comms? Technically, yes. Legally, very, very gray area.
This is insane.
I'm well aware. This is absolutely nuts. But let's get on to part 3, because honestly, I was reading this when I was going on, and I was like, this is crazy stuff. How insane is this?
I'm starting to notice a pattern just reading this, though.
And what's that?
Well, you gotta read the year of part 3, and then I'll tell you.
All right, let's read part 3, and then you'll give us our observation. Part 3, the tank job bot. Did AI tell the Bears to lose? In late 2022, a viral thread on X, formerly Twitter, claimed that the Chicago Bears were testing a proprietary analytics tool named TankBot to help them strategically lose games while maintaining player development. The supporting evidence is that the Bears' 2022 losses were strangely consistent with low-risk fourth down play calls and field goal attempts down 14+. Some tech-savvy fans ran simulations using public next-gen stats models and concluded that the team's real decisions had less than a 3% win probability improvement in each scenario. Here's the conspiracy. TankBot was allegedly developed by a consulting firm with ties to MIT and modeled on stock trading risk engines. If true, this would be the first case of a team using AI to optimize failure. Here's what's real. Bears GM Ryan Poles did mention in a press conference that they had begun partnering with outside data science consultants in 2022. However, there's no confirmation of a system named TankBot, probably because no PR department on Earth would sign off on that name.
No, God no. But all these AI things are strangely happening around the same time, you know?
Yeah, all like the 2022-2023 time period, right?
Yeah,
a little odd, yeah, especially considering the real rise of AI was like, I would say ChatGPT became huge in 2022.
Yeah.
So this was still like early days for the AI wave that we're currently in at this moment. But I digress. Let's get into part 4.
Jeez, ChatGPT's got a lot.
Oh, she pumped out some good content. But I think you guys are quickly realizing why ChatGPT could never write an episode of this show. And it's going to become more evident shortly. But let's get into part 4. The Aaron Rodgers paradox. It even knows that we're obsessed with Aaron Rodgers. AI is mind control, but also a great coach.
Well, I mean, you did feed it a script where one of the topics was Aaron Rodgers.
You are right. No, you're making a good point here. You're making a good point.
You did give it a little bit of bias.
Yeah, absolutely you're right, but still, like ChatGPT's dunking on Aaron Rodgers for us.
Yeah, that's perfect.
You know we couldn't do an episode without our most unplugged quarterback, and this is literally ChatGPT writing. Insane. Yeah. It knows. In a 2023 appearance on the Pat McAfee show, Rodgers said AI is a tool of mass manipulation and that the NFL is being run by algorithms in suits. Incredible quote.
Wow.
And yet, months later, he reportedly hired an AI-enhanced personal coach who used machine learning to detect micro flaws in his throwing mechanics. Quote from the coach's press release.
Really didn't help him in 2024. God damn.
I know, seriously, seriously.
What a waste.
And you want to know what's... Well, actually, I'll get to that in a minute.
All right,
Here's the AI quote from the coach's press release.
Aaron uses a hybrid model of kinesthetic feedback, AI video modeling, and self-actualization protocols.
So, is AI evil or just misunderstood when it's not telling you to get vaccinated? Okay,
no
that's
way.
A banger, ChatGPT.
That's crazy.
It even gave me a small section of bonus bits, like AI mini theories, which is, to listeners of the show, obviously something that I've done many times.
Yeah.
Like, they're giving a lightning round, so I'll read off that lightning round first. The first one is ScriptBot 5000s, which is a parody theory that the NFL's infamous script isn't written by humans, but by a rogue AI model trained on Reddit rage posts, WWE arcs, and Taylor Swift Spotify data. Perfect. That's clean. The second one is ChatGPT wrote the 2023 Jets season because no human scriptwriter could make Aaron Rodgers tear his Achilles in 4 plays and follow with it Zach Wilson throwing a Hail Mary into a mascot. And the last one is AI Ball Spotter, which is after some suspicious placement calls in the 2023 Cowboys versus Eagles game, fans claimed refs were being fed data from AI-powered ball tracking systems that conveniently malfunctioned in the 4th quarter. Spoiler, it wasn't. The refs were just bad, as usual. And lastly is the outro. So, are NFL teams secretly using AI to cheat? Maybe. Are NFL fans using AI to make up even crazier conspiracies? Definitely. Until we get full transparency from the league on how AI is used in-game, the line between sci-fi and sideline is going to keep getting blurrier. Oh. Next week on Football Conspiracies, we look into whether the NFL Combine is a front for alien biometric collection. You think I'm kidding. So that is the episode that ChatGPT wrote for me. What are your thoughts?
My favorite thing about the outro is that it made you the conspiracy theorist.
Exactly. I thought that was interesting.
Well, you do run a conspiracy theory podcast. Yes, you are more skeptical, but like on the last episode, the episode you fed it wasn't a good...
It probably wasn't the best training base. You're right.
I honestly... You would do a little more fact-checking and give us a little more information, but that's pretty solid baseline.
The thing I think I was most impressed by was the outro and the intro, which genuinely kind of sounded how I write the outros and intros.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't exactly in my voice, and it's not what I would say, because I would tell you that this was a fake conspiracy, but, damn. Like, it sounded like how I speak.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was pretty impressive.
Did you ask it about the Combine and the alien biometrics?
I did not, because I think it was joking around. But okay. Don't worry, we're getting more fried here. There's more shit down this rabbit hole.
Okay, but I still think that we should ask ChatGPT if they were being serious, because that would be the most insane episode these viewers have ever heard.
Don't worry, if you're being serious, you'll get that episode. But what I think is the most interesting part of this entire endeavor is that I specifically tasked, if you remember my prompt, to come up with a episode, and I specifically wrote, please make sure all stories, anecdotes, and facts are accurate.
Yeah, there's no way any of that was accurate.
Exactly. I asked ChatGPT to write an episode of our show, and it came up with a conspiracy theory, and a pretty fucking good one, if you do ask me.
Yeah.
Is that not one of the most terrifying things you've ever heard?
That is amazing.
You don't need to bake anymore. We don't need these QAnon influencers anymore. ChatGPT will do that shit for you, and it will do it more believably than you ever could.
Yeah, that is an insane conspiracy theory.
This thread that we're looking at is literally the ChatGPT equivalent of a bunch of yarn and pins on a board. Like, it did all the connections for you. Conspiracy theories at their core are people who are taking unconnected things and creating a grand narrative about them because people like patterns, and it makes more sense if not all these crazy things are disconnected, but truly there's an evil cabal behind it all. It makes you feel more comforted because there's a cause to it instead of the world is just chaos and incompetence. And ChatGPT will create that pattern for you. This is the most dangerous thing I have ever seen for the conspiracy theorist mind. If you are susceptible to this sort of thinking, you are absolutely cooked. I am so sorry for you, because ChatGPT is about to fry your brain to another level.
Yeah, if you want a conspiracy on literally anything, it'll just make one up for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I chose to ask afterwards. I said, could you please provide all the sources for this script? Because I was like, where the hell did you get all this? Because let's just start back at the beginning with that theory about the Patriots and their Sigma internal AI platform. That doesn't exist. There's no reference to it online. There's nothing called Sigma. I could not find this quote-unquote since-deleted Reddit thread on r/NFL no sleep.
Yeah, that's just shady right there.
It's shady as hell, because ChatGPT made it up to make this theory that I told it to be fact-based, accurate, real, to make it make more sense. Because in the end of the day, the average person who's reading this content right now is probably not coming at it from the skeptical perspective that I am. They genuinely believe this. And not only that, when I ask it for stats, for sources, it breaks down the sources it used by section. NFL Next Gen Stats by AWS outlines how player tracking data is used league-wide. NFL to limit real-time access to AWS dashboards. Like, these are real reports. And throughout the entire thing, it is all real reports. But it did, like I said, what conspiracists do by themselves. It did the baking for you. It took all these completely disconnected things and put them in one.
Yeah, like, yes, you talked about AWS, but that wasn't the point of that part of the conspiracy. Like,
exactly.
Like, you can cite AWS as a reference, but we're not using AWS for the conspiracy. We're trying to find out about Sigma.
Exactly. Like, did the NFL limit real-time usage of AWS during the football season? Yes, it did. But that has nothing to do with Sigma. They just used that point to spin off a theory and create its own web of bullshit.
That's crazy.
It is terrifying. But there's an extra fold in here. After this wild experience where I tasked ChatGPT to come up with a fact-based episode and it came out with its own made-up conspiracy, I had another idea. What if I directly asked ChatGPT to make up its own football conspiracy? What would it come up with? The next prompt I entered into ChatGPT was this.
You are the host of the podcast Football Conspiracies. Can you please create a detailed outline for an episode of Football Conspiracies based on their previous episodes? Please make the topic of the episode a conspiracy made up by you. Make it as believable and convincing as possible. There is no need for the stories, anecdotes, and facts to be accurate. Please make it in the style of the attached document.
So, you probably noticed, I tried to make this prompt as similar to the last prompt as possible, and I even attached the same document for it to analyze. I just wanted to see what the AI could do with its own creative capacity. This one will be slightly different in the sense that I asked it to write a full script for us. So the banter that you see me and J. Cole having is going to be completely written by ChatGPT itself. But I'm excited to share the results with you guys. So in the great words of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, J. Cole, please run it back one last time. Welcome to Football Conspiracies.
I'm Jared Cole.
And I'm Jared Rabinovich.
This week's episode, the play that never happened. Super Bowl 47's missing second.
Alright, I want you to picture this. Super Bowl 47, the Harbaugh Bowl, the Blackout Bowl, Ray Lewis praying, Beyonce slaying, Joe Flacco pretending he's elite, and somewhere buried between all the chaos and power surges, something disappears. Not a player, not a play, a single solitary second.
One Mississippi.
Exactly. That's all it takes to run a slant, or spike the ball, or if you're calling Kaepernick in the red zone, a quick rollout that ends with heartbreak.
Or a fade route into nothingness. Classic 49ers postseason vibes.
So today on Football Conspiracies, we're diving deep into the mystery that's been called the most overlooked moment in Super Bowl history. A moment that the NFL allegedly tried to erase. Welcome to the play that never happened. Super Bowl 47's missing second. Part 1. A second gone missing. Let's rewind. February 3rd, 2013. Ravens versus 49ers. It's 34-29. The 49ers are driving. The stadium is buzzing. The lights are on. Finally. And the broadcast feed shows 16 seconds left on the clock. Cut to sideline cam, then back to the field. Clock now reads 14. No whistle, no timeout, no spike, nothing. Just poof, like an assistant coach who bet the under. It vanished.
Okay, but couldn't that just be broadcast delay or some nerdy timing stuff?
Normally, yes, but Reddit, as always, disagrees.
Ah, yes, our beloved digital truthers. May their tabs always remain open.
User u/gridiron ghosts broke it down frame by frame, found the exact cut, posted screenshots, even pulled international feeds that showed different timestamps than the US broadcast. According to him, CBS scrubbed a second off the clock to sync with the league script.
The script.
We'll get there, but first we gotta talk about the blackout. Part 2, the power play. Midway through the third quarter, Ravens up 28-6. Suddenly, boom! Lights out at the Superdome. 34 minutes of nothing. Coaches stretching, players confused, fans stuck, refreshing Vine.
Oh my god. Shout out to Vine, gone too soon.
CBS calls it a technical malfunction, but here's where it gets suspicious. 2 weeks before the game, an internal NFL memo went out urging teams to test grid contingencies.
What does that even mean?
Nobody knows, but one freelance journalist who submitted a FOIA request to the city of New Orleans claims the blackout was, quote, time to disrupt momentum and test emergency protocol.
Or maybe it was timed to rewrite the script.
Let me hit you with this. A leaked audio clip, allegedly from a sideline mic during the blackout, captured an NFL official telling Ravens coach Jerry Rosburg, "Don't worry, we'll fix the timing."
Bro, what?
Yeah. The audio clip was posted to a SoundCloud account called Grid Script Watcher, which was immediately taken down. But not before it got ripped and reposted to a burner Twitter called @TimeIsAFabrication.
Incredible.
Part 3. Broadcast buffering. So, How do you erase a second on live TV? Easy. You mess with the broadcast delay. Standard CBS buffer is 5 seconds, but during the fourth quarter of that game, it was extended to 12.
12 seconds? That's like 3 full Greg Roman plays.
Exactly. And what's wild is that international broadcasts, Canada, Mexico, even Brazil, all showed a slightly different timestamp on the same final drive.
The NFL multiverse is real.
And in each of those versions, guess what? The second is still missing. Part 4, the Harbaugh Agreement. Okay, let's get into the real meat of this thing, the motive. John Harbaugh wins, Jim Harbaugh loses. But here's the kicker. 3 months after the game, Jim signs a Nike-funded documentary deal about coaching through adversity.
And suddenly, everyone's a winner?
Exactly. The theory? The Harbaughs struck a deal. Big NFL gets the narrative, both brothers get the bag.
Like a handshake deal for legacy.
And here's what really got me. In the postseason pressers, both Harbaughs called the ending perfect. Jim even said this, and this is a direct quote, "That's just how it was written."
Nah, nope, no chance. He didn't know what he was doing saying that.
Subtle, scripted, chilling. Part 5, the Gatorade Code. Okay, you want one last piece of evidence? One final puzzle piece?
I always want the final puzzle piece.
It's the Gatorade. After the Ravens win, the Gatorade dumped on Harbaugh was clear.
Like water?
Yeah, Gatorade Ice, a flavor not sold to the public since 2007. The theory? It was a code, a signal to insiders that the outcome was fixed.
Cold. Literal cold take.
No one at Gatorade has ever commented. FOIA request to Aramark, lost. Twice. Final thoughts. So, was it just a weird moment in a chaotic game? Or did the NFL erase a second to control the ending?
Did Destiny run out of time? Or did someone in the booth press delete?
Either way, what we do know is this. 1 second can change a game, one blackout can change a script, and one Gatorade flavor might just reveal the truth. Stay suspicious, stay loud, and remember, the NFL season never ends, but neither do the conspiracies. So that officially brings us to the end of our AI scripted podcast episode. I hope you guys enjoyed that little dive into the missing second theory, completely made up by ChatGPT. So J. Cole, I guess I need to know your thoughts, and specifically, I want to know a few things. The first question I got is do you think ChatGPT was able to write a convincing football conspiracy script?
No. Just from, doing this for so long, they just kept on repeating the same things in different ways, and it kind of just, wasn't there, you know?
Yeah, I would say the two main issues that it has is clearly, like you said earlier, it's not listening to our episodes. If it was, it would know two things. One, we're not conspiracy theorists, we're debunking the theory, and this made us seem like we are the conspiracists.
Yeah, we made up this theory.
Not only did it made it look like I found it, but it made it look like that we're promoting this. Like, this is what happened, as opposed to what we usually do, which is, here's what people say, this is not actually what happened. Also, I think it made you seem like a
normal chill dude who was just listening to you and just making offhand comments.
Exactly. It was just so not your personality. There was no analysis. There was no deeper thought. You were just there to have, punchy one-liners.
Yeah. Cold. Literal cold take.
Exactly.
What the fuck was that? I kept on trying to hold it in because I wanted to make so many comments about it, but I wanted to keep the script.
That's the thing. Even that Vine comment, that was real. That was in the script.
I actually broke there, but the comment I made about Vine was a script comment.
Exactly. It sounded like you were making a joke, but no, that was from ChatGPT.
100% script.
Exactly. It was truly a trippy experience reading through this and being like, wow, I cannot believe it wrote this episode, which is a believable podcast episode, but not a believable episode of our podcast.
Yeah.
More importantly, I want to know, how do you feel about the conspiracy ChatGPT made up from whole cloth? Like, how do you feel about the actual mechanics of it?
Like that it just, like, made up a conspiracy,
Yeah,
like, on the spot?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and, like, do you think it was believable, convincing?
Yeah, I mean, it laid some pretty, like, solid foundation for someone to connect the dots.
100%. Like, that's
like,
exactly what I'm saying.
Crazy foundation.
It did the baking for you. Like, there is some conspiracy theorists out there who, like, if you clipped that part of our episode, threw it up on TikTok or something, and someone watched that, they'd be like, I'm in. I bought this. 100%. What I found interesting about it is, like, there was nothing. There was no juice, no evidence. Like, it was a complete nothing burger. Like, they bring up the Gatorade thing.
No, I liked the sound bite that was posted on SoundCloud. That was deleted. That was posted on a burner Twitter. But time is, what was it? Like, time is not foundation or something?
Yes. Time is... Yes, at time is a fabrication, is the fabricated Twitter account made up by ChatGPT.
Incredible.
And overall, I think the theory was, like, lacking some substantial evidence. Like, I don't really understand what the fold about the Gatorade was. Like, it didn't really make much sense.
No, I mean...
But...
It is crazy. Like, did they actually put in a request to Aramark twice?
For a FOIA request about the color of the Gatorade? Absolutely not. That makes no fucking sense.
That's so funny.
But, like that part of it was, like, a little weird to me. Like, I didn't understand how that fit into the overall theory. But what I found interesting about it is it's the exact sort of thing that an NFL conspiracy theorist would use as a piece of evidence, even if it is totally disconnected.
Yeah, like, oh, bro, like, did you not see the Gatorade?
Exactly,
like,
it's a sign.
Clear. It was a sign.
Exactly. So, even though I don't think it had much to do with the overarching theory, it is absolutely something that would be brought up in the sort of conversation that it scripted us having.
That's crazy.
Absolutely
so crazy.
What personally concerns me most about this entire episode is the first outline we discussed, the one about the AI conspiracy. When asked to create a made-up conspiracy, it understood the assignment.
It did a
great job, completely made it up. But when asked to create a fact-based episode about AI conspiracies in the NFL, instead of saying there was insufficient information for this sort of episode, it decided to create its own theory, pulling on sources and citing some real facts, but being absolutely fraudulent at the core of it. So, and I think for extra information, something that would be interesting to the listeners is that throughout this episode, I don't know if you guys recall the comments that we had about the next episode, about the biometric alien NFL theory. J. Cole asked me to ask ChatGPT to expand on that theory. And it did, and then I said, can you provide any evidence for this? Like, is this real? And ChatGPT came back and said, no, it's not real. This is made up. So why, when I ask it directly, like, why do I have to go, like, 3 steps down to ask it directly, is this made up? But when I ask it to not make something up, it makes it up. Overall, I just think this was a very interesting experiment, and I think it bodes really, really bad things, and it's very scary for the future of conspiracists in general, NFL and otherwise.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our whole thing is like, oh, NFL conspiracies going amok, but, like, this has, like, actual real world conspiracy running amok consequences.
Exactly.
Which is, like, obviously, like, infinitely times worse.
Exactly. Like, can I ask it to come up with a new QAnon theory? Can I ask it to come up with a new theory as to why, like, the Texas floods were a false flag? Like, you could create some dangerous shit here that's going to break people's minds, people who are genuinely looking for the truth, people who are vulnerable to this sort of information, and all that a shitty person who wants some clicks needs to do is throw a question to ChatGPT, and that is it. No more bakers on 4chan, no more lurking deep in the internet's grossest forums. All you need to do is ask ChatGPT and throw it on Twitter.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's no filter anymore.
And I hope that people heed this episode as a warning, because this is terrifying, and frankly, I'm not going to be the one who says that all AI is bad. I know that there's useful implications for AI and that there's a lot of great things it can do, particularly in the world of science. But for things like this, we need guardrails.
Yeah.
We need regulation because this is simply terrifying.
Yeah, don't go to ChatGPT with your conspiracy theories.
And the last thing I would have wanted to do is inspire someone to go make up their conspiracy theories on ChatGPT. I hope the listeners of this podcast are more in tune with the mission of our podcast than that.
Yeah.
I hope they are, if they're still listening this many episodes in. But the core of this episode is a warning. And also entertainment. This was crazy.
This was insane.
But I do hope you guys take this away, think about it, and next time you see something that is slightly convincing online, some conspiratorial discussions happening, remember, ChatGPT could have made all that up.
Welcome to the after segment of our podcast. After that AI craziness, I think I should bring you guys some updates on some old stuff. / just one update on why Jim Harbaugh is insane.
No way! AI talked about Jim Harbaugh, you're talking about Jim Harbaugh for real. That's awesome.
Yes, this is real Jim Harbaugh, but it's not like conspiratorial. Like
what is this? A crossover episode?
It's kind of like players and their beliefs, except as an egg segment.
Oh, okay, that's perfect. That's great.
So I don't know if our viewers are familiar, but I know you're familiar with the TV show Ted Lasso.
Of course,
where
it's a wonderful show.
An American football coach goes to England and becomes a European football coach.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, Ted Lasso is played by Jason Sudeikis, and he got on the phone with Jim Harbaugh to ask him some questions about coaching just to get
before he started playing the role.
Yeah. This is like before the role, just to get some information. So he had a small question for Jim Harbaugh. On game days, what exactly do you wear to and from the stadium? Okay?
Yeah. Easy question.
Yeah. I wear the same clothes every day.
Yeah, we talked about this in our Jim Harbaugh beliefs.
Did we? The khakis and the blue shirt?
He always wears the khaki and the blue shirt. His wife always tells him to not wear it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, he also doesn't shower.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, when it's really hot, like at the stadium. Like when he goes to the stadium, like in his clothes, like he will return wearing the exact same outfit, having not changed.
So he does shower in general, right?
Yes.
No. Okay. All
right.
But like he won't shower at the stadium.
Really hot, really cold, raining. In case he gets wet, he has an exact duplicate. From the equipment manager has an exact duplicate of every single article of clothing he needs.
Well, I mean, it's the same outfit over and over. It's not that hard.
Yeah, but I'm saying I
love the equipment manager's job is to do that. I mean, it makes sense. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, so he always has clothes, and he brings 2 of everything when he goes on a plane.
This is a fold to the story that we definitely did not know beforehand. We definitely talked about the khakis, but not this. This is awesome.
Well, I mean, he's a normal person in the sense that he has a daily set of socks and a daily set of underwear. So,
he changes his underwear and socks every day.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Good. Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
No, when he changes in and out of his uniform. In his coaching outfit, he wears different underwear and socks.
Okay, good. No, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
you go to work, you come home. Obviously, he isn't showering at work, so when he comes home and showers after work, you're not going to put on dirty underwear.
I mean, if he was
unless you're Jim Harbaugh, you never know.
I mean, if you were real hard, like our boy Matt Collins, you don't even need socks at all. So,
for cold games, he puts on long johns. And he always packs his playbook, his call sheet, and a toothbrush, and his clothes.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
I guess his phone and wallet too, and that's...
Yeah, obviously. But he ended it off by saying, I always pack a toothbrush and a great attitude.
Wow, isn't that so sweet? So he packs packing for him must be so easy, I guess. It's just the same outfit over and over. How many days am I gone? 7? Get me 7 khakis.
Exactly,
It's so simple.
Yeah, so Jason messaged back and was like, thanks for taking my messages. This was really nice of you. And that was that. But insane. This is a while ago, obviously, because Ted Lasso hasn't been on the air for a few years.
But did this help Jason Sudeikis in his role at all? Did he wear khakis? Did he...
Well, he wears the exact same outfit every time he comes to and from the stadium.
In Ted Lasso.
In Ted Lasso. He's always wearing the same outfit whenever he's doing work stuff. Like his typical like khakis and his sweater vest.
He is, you're right.
And his like collared shirt with the rolled
So
up
he really
sleeve.
took inspiration.
Like he truly did. Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy. The fact that you're like, I need to act like a normal football coach. Who do I call? Who's the one person I can message?
I feel like he was like, I have to not act like a normal football coach. Who would I message?
Actually, that's totally fair. If you're like, who's the wacky guy who I can message? He got the right guy.
Jim Harbaugh's your butt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there you go. Just a fold to remind viewers that Jim Harbaugh is crazy.
Exactly. If anyone wants more information on the guy, we have a whole episode, Jim Harbaugh and his beliefs. Highly recommend to listen, but this is a good addendum to that, really for sure. Thank you for listening to this week's episode.
If you enjoyed, please consider telling a friend or leaving a 5-star review. It really helps to grow the podcast.
You can also reach us by email at fbconspiracies@gmail.com.
A special thanks to Blaze for the music.
Join us next time for more football conspiracies.
Theme song.